all these upsets are happening, but that's just the way the ball is going. That's the way it rolls. So you're trying to pick upsets. But what are the key to picking upsets, and how do you strategically fill out your bracket?
Yeah, so obviously no one's going to be perfect. There's never anyone who are ever perfect at this, but there are a couple things, a couple tendencies that March Madness has been showing the last couple years. The one being the 12 seeds. So I feel like the 12 seeds a couple years ago were, almost a guaranteed loss against the 5th seed. But the last couple years, we've seen a big uptick in the 12 seeds winning. Last year we had two 12 seeds who won in the first round and moved on. So I would find one or two 12 seeds that you really like and kind of just roll with them, because I truly do believe that every year moving forward, just because there has been a shift in college basketball, that the 12 seeds are going to have a great advantage. Typically, they're the team who plays at their own pace. They play their brand of basketball. They're very inexperienced teams. They're typically from the lower conferences, obviously. So the experience is really what's been kind of getting them above against these other teams who maybe don't have the experience that they do. So find a team or two on the 12 seed range that you like and have them move on to the second round. Another thing to pay attention to, I mentioned this very early on, pay attention to the conference winners and who is hot or who gets hot in each of these conference tournaments. Because if you look at it last year, especially in the ACC, you had NC State and Clemson, who were playing really good basketball. NC State obviously won the ACC championship, and they ended up going to the Final Four. So really look at the teams who are playing really well or playing above their game or their typical game in the conference tournaments, and kind of pick them to maybe make a long leap to the end. And those are the teams that you want to pay attention to. Look for any range from the 6 to 8 seed making the Final Four. We've had at least one of those the last couple years. So find one of those teams, find one of the hot teams in that range to make it to the Final Four. Find one that you really like and trust it. And a couple other things. A 1 seed typically does win it. It always ends up being a 1 seed for some reason. So I know it's probably going to be fun to maybe choose not a 1 seed to win it all. But I would choose one, especially this year. The 1 seeds are super strong. So whoever they are, choose one of them and trust them to win it all. And I think the last thing was the seeds overall 8 through 12 can always be sneaky. And I mentioned that with the 12 seed, and I mentioned that with one of the 6 to 8 seeds making the Final Four. So, I would choose a handful of those overall and kind of, have them go deep in the bracket. I do think, like I said, there is a little bit of a shift in college basketball. So I would trust a couple of those teams. Obviously, don't pick all upsets and don't pick all favorites, but I think for sure pick a couple of teams who you think can make a deep run, especially those 12 seeds and so on. But, don't be afraid to, trust your instinct, and that's the name of the game.
I have a question about what to do. I feel like a lot of people have trouble between the 7th and 8th seed, just every single time. I never know which one to pick. So what advice would you give to someone like myself who always has trouble picking between the two, and what is the differentiating factor of what the team has that the other team doesn't usually that makes them come out on top?
Yeah, so a lot of these apps that we use to fill out the brackets, they do have a matchup comparison. I would click on that, and I think I would look at rebounding, the amount of rebounds or offensive rebounds. I would look at free throw percentage, because it's almost always going to go down to free throws. So who shoots a better free throw percentage? The pace that each team goes at. If you have one team who plays a faster pace and the other one plays a slower pace, obviously one of those is going to take over. Which one? It's a 50-50 chance, but I tend to rely on the team who plays a slower pace, just because it is a little bit more frustrating on the team who plays a little bit of a quicker pace. So those are the things I really look out for. I just think the teams who play the game the right way and don't chuck up a lot of bad shots, or just very strategic and smart and play good defense, those are the teams that I'm always going to pick.
Okay, perfect. Well, speaking of picking teams and filling out brackets, we have a question for the fans and, of course, for you, Dom, as well. Drop it in the comments. How many brackets are you filling out this season or this year?
Yeah, so I know a lot of people aren't going to believe this, but I really only fill out one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's just, there's a lot to overthink, and I feel like if you continue to fill them out, you're obviously not going to make a perfect bracket, so why are you filling out more than one? So I'm very conservative. I only fill out one. I take a lot of time on that one bracket, so right when brackets are open, Sunday, I think you have obviously till Thursday to finalize it, Thursday at noon. So I take that whole week, do any research, kind of just stick to my gut, and if I fill out too many, then I'm not paying attention to all of them. So I'm trying to make the one really good one. So that's what I focus on. How many do you fill out?
It really depends on the year. If I'm following it more so than I was another year. But sometimes I like to do just fun brackets. Like when Arizona State was in it, I picked them to win just for fun. Sometimes I just like to do it for fun. But my family, we have a betting each year. So everyone fills out a bracket, and